Hi, I'm Jennifer Rash with the Alabama Baptist newspaper, and I'm here with my final report of the 187th annual meeting of the Alabama Baptist State Convention. For the past 2 days, nearly 900 messengers have gathered here at Whitesburg Baptist Church in Huntsville. Messengers voted this morning to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Baptist and heard the final theme interpretation of God's Plan for Sharing by Danny Wood, pastor of Shades Mountain Baptist Church in Birmingham.
And he nailed it, because when he started talking about that, he said that it's not the commandment that drives us to go, it's the impulse. It's that impulse of love for others. And Jesus says in verse 18, as you have sent me, how did God send his son? For God so what? Loved the world. And so he sends his son in love, he sends us out in love. And what he's saying is that, listen guys, we've got to adjust our focus and focus on people more than projects.
During the convention sermon, Steve Scoggins, pastor of First Baptist Church Opelika, urged pastors to deal honestly with their emotional bouts of depression and to be sympathetic to colleagues who are experiencing it.
And I went to our church sanctuary. And I got there and I cried. And then I said to God, God, I want to die. And I will tell you something, folks. I've never heard God audibly, but I've heard God, and I'm sure you would agree with that. I heard God say to me at that moment, okay, you're dead. Write it down. This is the day Steve Scoggins died. It doesn't matter what they do to a dead man. You're dead. We'll just count that. And when I finally came to that place where, okay, Lord, I'm dead to it all, I had the most incredible, fresh feeling of the Holy Spirit. He just covered my heart up, covered my life. In fact, I started running around the sanctuary shouting. And what was so embarrassing is my minister of music walked in to do something. I said, sorry, brother, can't stop. That next morning, I was there 30 minutes before the first car drove up, standing on the parking lot. When the first one drove up, I said, you're going to tell your grandchildren about today. God is coming down. I gave the invitation that morning, and folks, down the aisles, people were there. God broke through. God moved.
Also during the morning session, all 3 state convention officers were re-elected for another year. Second Vice President is John Killian, pastor of Maytown Baptist Church. First Vice President is Mike Shaw, pastor of First Baptist Church Pelham. And President is Jimmy Jackson, pastor of Whitesburg Baptist Church.
Dr. Jackson, if you'll come, please, let me just make a transitional statement. For the past year, he has been our president. For the coming year, Lord willing, he's going to serve us this entire year as our president. I know it's a biblical statement which often is quoted and it becomes a bit time-worn, but for such a time as this, he has come to serve us in Alabama Baptist life. And I'm glad he has the gavel at this particular time. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, our newly elected president, and thank you for this past year. We want to, again, be sure and reflect our spirit of gratitude to Whitesburg for hosting us. What a marvelous job. Mike Shaw. Mike Shaw has been a dear friend for many years. The years have turned into decades. Mike is a premier, stellar example of what an enduring legacy of a pastor ought to be, having served 30 years at First Baptist Church Pelham. And he is a man who has a heart for God and service, and we're glad that he has been reelected as our first vice president. We're looking forward to it, Mike. God bless you. You want to say a quick word? John Killian, Dr. John Killian. He is, of course, the pastor of Maytown Baptist Church, and John has distinguished himself as a very strong biblical preacher, one who has served the Lord so faithfully, not only at Maytown, but other places of service, other services, other pastors across our state. And John, we've not only appreciated you this last year, we have for a long time, and looking forward to anticipation to the year to come. And I know you want to stand up.
I'm here now with Dr. Jackson, newly re-elected president of the Alabama Baptist State Convention. Dr. Jackson, tell me your impressions about how the past 2 days have gone.
Well, I think they went wonderfully well, beginning with the pastors' conference, which comes from the head of the convention. We had some powerful preaching and a great spirit of unity. And then we came into the pastors' conference, and of course we hosted it here at our own church, and our people just knocked themselves out, making everybody comfortable. And then it seemed to me that everything was just, it worked so smoothly, and the people were so gracious. the recommendations that were made and the progress that's being made in our convention is so encouraged by the people, and I think all of our pastors and messengers are going home today with a great energy in their spirits to keep on serving the Lord, because things are going wonderfully well in Alabama and among Alabama Baptists, and we're so grateful to the Lord.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. God bless you.
And thank you for joining us. Be sure to read the November 26th issue of the Alabama Baptist for a full report of convention activities.